Welcome, friends. This is Harshad Parekh inviting you to listen to some of my short writings on various topics. This is audio tape number 139. It was a bright, sunny afternoon yesterday. We were sitting outside in chairs under the shade of a tree and on a green lawn outside the main house. The sea in front of us was blue and everything was sparkling with beauty. Once in a while, a bird flew effortlessly in the blue sky. We were seven of us having a dialogue on our relationship with human beings, nature, and with our own thinking. We had very good communication. We spoke gently, clearly, and listened with attention. We have good relationship only if our mind is peaceful and attentive. Relationship exists at three levels: physical, mental, and spiritual. We all are related mostly at physical and mental levels. Spiritual relationship is the highest form of relationship in which people can relate without having images about each other. There is ever renewing freshness in such a relationship. Even when you are alone, you are related with nature in a peaceful way in such a relationship. One can never feel lonely in such a relationship. I remember my first meeting with Krishnamurti in Ojai in 1977. It was a purely non-verbal meeting in which we looked at each other with a silent mind and shook our hands. He was standing alone under a tree after one of his talks. In his presence, my mind also became silent. He talked about this kind of relationship all throughout his life, in which we can see people and nature with a silent, attentive mind. Such a relationship is very rare in our existence. Next article. Happiness is when you do not desire more happiness and you do not try to escape from unhappiness. It means living with reality. Next article. In 1929, Krishnamurti dissolved a spiritual organization, the Order of the Star, of which he was the head. He said, "Truth is a pathless land." People who have found or felt the truth, they do not need any path. It exists within them. Krishnamurti had no need for any path. But the followers of Krishnamurti may need a path and they need to keep on working until that they too can say honestly and clearly, truth is within you. Truth, there is no path to truth. Today, I read in a book that the mystic poet Kabir was asked by his disciple about the path to truth. Kabir said, "Path presupposes distance. If truth is within, no path is needed at all." It makes me smile to hear that a fish is thirsty in water. Next article. Intellect is not sufficient to understand Krishnamurti's teachings. Intellect can make simple things more complicated and confusing. Intelligence can see things clearly and directly without effort. Next article. Ye Sham Ki Tanhaiya. This is an old, deeply touching Hindi song about loneliness of a young woman in the evening. She is missing the man she loves. Loneliness is a great problem in the world. Even children feel lonely sometimes when they feel that people around them are not loving. Children feel neglected by friends and parents. Each person is busy with his or her own thinking and feeling. Thinking creates a feeling that one is separate from the world. Such a feeling is responsible for loneliness. Old people too feel lonely after retirement. They do not know what to do with their time. They feel self pity when people around do not understand and do not give love and respect. Rich and famous people feel lonely too, though they may look busy and smiling on surface. Loneliness comes from selfish thoughts and feelings. Is it possible to be free from loneliness? I would say yes, if we are deeply interested in looking at the source of thoughts and feelings which gives rise to loneliness and other problems in relationship. But this looking requires non-verbal acute awareness which is in a dimension different than thinking and feeling. Krishnamurti's teachings are about awakening of such a non-verbal, ongoing, effortless awareness. Next article. A young woman had a master's degree in science. She had taught mathematics for a short time and also done some social work. She was thinking of getting married soon. She said, quote, in other countries, the boy and girl fall in love with each other. It may be all right in the beginning, but soon there is contention and misery, the quarreling and making up, the tedium of pleasure and the routine of life. The arranged marriage in this country, India, ends in the same way. The fun goes out of it, so there is not much to choose between the two systems. They both are pretty terrible. But what is one to do? After all, one must marry. One can't remain single all one's life. It is all very sad, but at least the husband gives a certain security and children are a joy. But one can't have one without the other. Unquote. This woman and Krishnamurti discuss the problem of marriage, family, and security. Krishnamurti told her that family is a unit of limited relationship, self-enclosing and exclusive. It provides a sense of security, but there are no happiness and freedom in such a relationship. The family as a means of security creates conflict and insecurity. The woman says, I understand intellectually what you say, but is it possible to live without this desire for security? Krishnamurti says, to understand intellectually is not to understand at all. Using another as a means of satisfaction and security is not love. Love is a state in which there is no desire to be secure. It is the only state in which exclusiveness, enmity, and hate are impossible. In that state, a family may come into existence, but it will not be exclusive, self-enclosing. Love alone can bring about a radical revolution or transformation in relationship, and love is not a thing of the mind. Thought can plan and formulate magnificent structures of hope, but thought will only lead to further conflict, confusion, and misery. Love is when the cunning, self enclosing mind is not. For people who are interested in reading the whole article, may read Krishnamurti's commentaries on Living second series. The article is The Family and the Desire for Security, page 109 to 113. Next article. I came to know about this book, The Autobiography of a Yogi, when I was working at University of Waterloo in Canada in 1975. A friend of mine was a follower of Yoganand, but at that time I was deeply interested in Krishnamurti, who was denouncing all spiritual gurus and their authority and methods of meditation. Krishnamurti's teachings helped me very much in understanding my own mind and problems created by the mind. The only book which can help us is reading the book of our own life as it is written every day. I could see clearly how problems like fear, anger, jealousy, conflicts in relationship are created at the root or source from where they arise. So I did not feel the need to read about Yoganand's life and his experiences and his methods of meditation. Few years ago, I saw this book in a bookshop. Its price was only rupees 95 and it has 500 pages. I bought the book but still did not have the patience to read such a big book. But nowadays, I am not traveling to various places and all the time is available to read books, meditate, dream, write, communicate with friends, etc. So I picked up this book and started reading few pages every day. I just finished reading this book yesterday. I found this book very interesting. Yoganand lived a very good life from childhood. He was very clear that his life was meant for spiritual exploration. He met yogis of deep understanding or wisdom. He came alone to USA in 1920, taught yoga to thousands of Americans, set up schools and centers in USA and India to teach wisdom of ancient India. He lived the last 32 years of his life in USA. A photograph taken 1 hour before his death on March 7, 1952 shows that he looked very happy and peaceful, and it is said that his body did not show any decay for 20 days after death. This book can open up a window to show a world beyond the boundaries of the human mind. It is not necessary to follow Yoganand or Krishnamurti or some other teachers. We must keep our mind open and not come to any conclusions as far as spiritual world is concerned.